it. And you know what? I know this is probably going to piss off Raider fans the way that I'm going to get on them right now, but I don't care, dude. It's like, dude, we're bragging about beating the Giants and the Jets, dog. Come on, dude. Giants and Jets, two of the worst offenses in the NFL. Literally, the Raiders, these are teams that you're supposed to beat. But that's just how bad the Raiders situation is that you're getting excited about beating teams that you're supposed to beat. And I don't think that their approach is right from the guy from Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce was not the right person to put in charge of being your head coach. I know why they did it because they felt like, okay, let's go get the toughest guy in the locker room, the toughest looking coach, and let him be the head coach. That's like always the Davis family strategy when they had to hire John Madden. He probably was the toughest looking guy who was a coach in the room. When they hired Art Shell, he was probably the toughest looking guy in the room. When they hired Cable, he was probably the toughest looking guy in the room. And they're hiring the coaches off that strength alone, in my opinion, Jeff. Like, as long as he can sit up in here and cuss a player out, we'll put him in here because he ain't gonna be like Josh, where he's just gonna whip out and just bench you. He'll just jump in your face, do the Michael Singletary, and put on shows, and then all of a sudden it's just gonna start becoming about him. And I think that he has the right attitude when it comes to motivating the guys, but I think he has the wrong attitude when it comes to how they're approaching the game. They literally were very vanilla. They ran the ball like 100 times on Sunday, and it was obvious. And then you're saying that you still trust your quarterback? How do you trust your quarterback if you're going to just keep making him hand off the ball? And you're just not playing Jimmy G because the fans don't want you to play Jimmy G. I feel like this team is being ran by fans and players, Jeff, and you're not going to win anything with that happening, okay? And the Raiders really got themselves a cherry spot to where everybody's going to feel good about what they're doing because they won 2 in a row. Their coach is rolling up in a Impala. He's acting like he's Suge Knight on the sideline, RWA, straight out of Compton, blah, 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 blah. But that does not conduce me to winning. That just makes for a good podcast. You know what I mean? That doesn't make for winning, in my opinion. And Mark Davis is a joke. This franchise is a joke. And that roster right now, the way that they're strolling around the locker room smoking cigars after beating two of the worst teams in the NFL is nothing to brag about. Good teams don't do that. That's what mediocre teams do. And pretty much just had to go ahead and do my Raider rant. This is an easy call. The Dolphins are the best home team in football. Everybody knows this. When you go to the Hard Rock, oh, you better get ready to be rocked. And guess what's going to happen? They might do the Raiders uglier than they did the Broncos. This is a no-brainer, Jeff. Hand me the Dolphins at minus 11. And you know I hate these spreads, too. You know I hate double-digit spreads on a favorite. But this week, they're going to have to show the Raiders that they ain't there yet.
I, I think the celebration with the cigars in the first one, and the second one they didn't have to, but it was more of a celebration that McDaniels had left the building. They were just sick and tired of him preaching the Patriot way, and they were trying to flex their muscles, and it's the Raider way. Well, I don't see Jim Plunkett. I didn't see Marcus Allen. And some of Dave Casper and, John Madden in the locker room there. So it's been a long, long time since I've heard the Raiders way. But, hats off. They won 2 games, 5-5. I didn't think they'd have 5 wins this year. Never mind 5-5. Come in now with the Dolphins off a bye, A-Chain back to ready to play. My true number was a 10 with a 48. Already up to 12 and a 46.5. I don't see a lot of Raider money coming in here. I have the Dolphins as well, minus 11. Expect an early and often air brigade, and then look for Mozart and A-Chain to do their job. This has got the makings of a 30-31 to 13 pop, somewhere in that area.
And the Dolphins have had the Raiders number two, especially going down to Miami. So, I just no, I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for it. I'm just not, because this is about to be the beginning of who they really are. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you can blame Josh McDaniels, you can blame this coach, you can blame that coach, but you're the players. You have to be accountable at some point. You were the one throwing bad passes. You were the one dropping passes. You were the one fumbling the ball. You're the one missing blocks. Dude, is that all the coach's fault? No, it's not. It's on you, player. You play football. I play football, Jeff. You can only blame the coach for so much. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's an overall stink with the Raiders. It's not just about the coach. But I know what everybody's saying. If the coach prepares you to stink, then you're going to stink. And I don't think he prepared them to stink. I just think that they did their due diligence to get him fired. It's that simple. Teams do this shit all the time, Jeff. You know that. You know that. When you hate the coach, you're going to do everything opposite of what the coach is talking about. So, you know what? You embarrass yourself a little bit more than the coach embarrassed himself.
We're
Go ahead.
getting close to We're getting close to Christmas season. The Grinch. I mean, that was a perfect lead in. The old stink, stank, stunk. And again, enough's enough. There you go, Josh. Now you see what you could have had. But the stink, stank, stunk has left the building, supposedly. Be interested to see if the Raiders bring their cigars to South Beach pubs.
You said stink, stank, stunk. What do you mean? The stink, stank, stunk sits over there with the white coat every week. What are you talking about? Fire the owner, as I say every single week. All right, we move forward.